Yes, everybody, deposit dates have finally been revealed for the next batch of stimulus checks that will be going out soon. People that are eligible can expect an automatic deposit for this new payment sooner, and Congress and the Internal Revenue Service is now saying that some Americans may be entitled to some extra tax refund money. There is a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check that I want you to know, so be sure to continue watching this video. Here is the most important news first. If you live in the state of Maine, look forward to this stimulus check. Maine is among the growing list of states offering economic rebate checks ranging from a few $100s to $850 as stimulus funds to help cover the rising cost of gas and food. The governor, Janet Mills of Maine, proposed a rebate of as much as $850 to most residents. According to NBC News, the governor's state change package to the proposed supplemental budget would give back more than half of the state's surplus budget as one-time checks of $850 to roughly 800,000 Maine residents to help with the state surplus. And the state has a budget surplus of $682 million. So while experts say that there is a policy reason to deliver aid to families, that's not the only motivation. And in an election year, there are a few things as popular as giving voters what voters see as free money from the state. And there's also now a push to get payments sent out before the end of the year, even faster by sending the money electronically rather than paper stimulus checks. The proposal has a bipartisan support, even though some members of the legislature want to speed up things further by using direct deposit. In the past, Maine has never used direct deposit, and the state's Department of Administrative and Financial Services says switching to it could create logistical issues that could potentially delay payments. The proposal needs to pass the legislature with 2/3 support. In addition to the one-time payments, the Governor Mills said that she proposed to fund state's employment sector, provide high-speed affordable broadband, and free community college for those who are eligible. Governor Mills has told lawmakers in the state address, "While I cannot control the impact of crisis on the global market, I can make sure that we deliver to Maine people the resources they need." So it's pretty good to see, everybody, that some states are giving their own state citizens a stimulus check. Now, not only that, but listen to this. Here is some very important news from the IRS. Many Americans who received the stimulus payments should not have, and many are wondering if they may have to pay back money. Since the beginning of the crisis, 3 federal packages including stimulus checks have been passed. The first stimulus package included $1,200 in direct payments, and the next one sent $600 to most Americans. The latest stimulus payment, as part of President Biden's American Rescue Act, sent $1,400 checks to Americans. But those who filed a tax rebate in 2021 and claimed the recovery rate credit might have a problem. Between January 1st and July 15th, the IRS sent roughly 9 million math error notices, according to the Taxpayer Advocate Service. Of the notices, which typically reflect adjustments, 7.4 million were related to stimulus checks, but that might be the case, as the math error has caused some confusion among taxpayers who have received notices. As a result of the error, the IRS will typically make an adjustment on the balance due or potentially shrink the refund. The IRS has also announced that you may be owed hundreds of dollars by the agency. According to CBS News, the IRS is holding on to nearly $1.5 billion in tax refund for an estimated 1.5 million people who have not yet filed their 2018 tax return.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the gentleman. Thank you, Congressman Graves, for arranging this special tribute to a devoted patriot, a serious legislator, an endearing colleague and friend, the Dean of the House, Congressman Don Young. Thank you, Mr. Graves, for your leadership in putting this together. I'm pleased to join our distinguished Democratic leader, Mr. Hoyer, who's still here on the floor now for this. This morning, Congress had the sad and official honor of welcoming Congressman Young back to the Capitol, to Lyons State in Statuary Hall. As Speaker, it was my solemn privilege to join in paying tribute to this legendary leader as his historic public service brought luster to the Congress and to the country. It was always clear that Don was passionate about his position and his patriotism and about working in this institution to make a difference. As an Army veteran, he was a force for ensuring our service members, veterans, and military families got the care they earned. As a former teacher, he was a passionate advocate for quality education for all of our nation's children. And as a champion for Alaska, as Congressman Graves pointed out, and Mr. Hoyer as well, he was relentless in delivering investments to his beloved home state, especially lifting up Native communities. His wife, Lou, in honor of his wife, Lou. When Don became dean in December 2017, he said right here on the House floor, "I love this body. I believe in this body. My heart is in the House." He loved the House, and the House loved him. Indeed, Dongwon was an institution in the House of Representatives. 49 years, as was said this morning, 49 years for the 49th state, the last frontier, which he loved, Alaska. While a committed conservative, he was more than willing to work across the aisle across party lines, if it meant delivering for his beloved home state of Alaska. And as dean, he cherished the duty to bring members together and to defend the dignity and integrity of this institution. I myself was personally honored to be sworn in as speaker 2 times by the distinguished dean, Don Young, in 19 and 21, 2019 and 2021. As dean, he cherished his duty to bring members together, as I said. Despite political differences, many of us on the other side of the aisle enjoyed close personal friendships with him, built on our shared reverence and respect for this institution. His salmon dinners were legendary. His personality was similarly legendary. While we were devastated by the loss of our dear friend and colleague, each of us has a duty to honor his unending love for the House and the towering legacy he leaves behind. Again, I want to just call to attention the fact that George Miller, who served with him, wrote it's online in The Hill, an article. He wrote it with John Lawrence as opinion contributors. But George Miller and Don Young were back and forth chair and ranking member on the Interior Committee, the Natural Resources Committee. And you have to read it because it's any one sentence taken out of context you might not appreciate. But let me just say what he said at the end. Saying you'll miss Don Young doesn't mean he was right all the time or that he was invariably wrong. It means the House is diminished by his loss. He was a great congressman and a great friend. Alaska was fortunate to have him. May it be a comfort to his beloved wife, Anne, his dear children, Dawn and Joni, and his 20-some darling grandchildren, that so many in the Congress and the country mourn their loss. Madam Speaker, frequently we will say at a service, "I mourn with you." We are all mourning in the House with Anne, Dawn, and Joni because we have all lost